What is going on, guys? This is Trendkill, and welcome to my solo nightmare mode guide for Crunch, one of the hardest maps in Orcs Must Die 2. So before we get into the intro, let's talk about the setup here. We're going to be putting coin forges down in most of the choke points, or as Orcs Must Die 2 aficionados call them, kill boxes. On one side, we're going to be putting acid sprayers, on the other side, we're going to be putting grinders, and on the top, we're going to be putting haymakers. Now, the one bad part about this setup is that I'm not using anything on the ground to slow them. So I'm not using my spike traps, I'm not using my ice vents, I'm obviously not a war mage, so I don't have access to the almighty tar. So I'm forced to micromanage a little more, but that's the downfall of playing as the Sorceress. Now, while the Orcs are making their way down for the first wave, let's go ahead and talk about the loadout I've got going on here. I'm using the Lightning Ring with slow. I'm using Ice Vents, which are irrelevant. I'm using Acid Sprayers with slow, Grinders with bleed, Haymakers with stun larger enemies. I'm using Decoys with freeze, the Floor Scorchers with burn longer, and the Coin Forges with extra damage. My archers also have fire arrows. Now, there's really no better way to do this than to just set up 4 separate kill boxes for all the 4 separate entrances. And for the north and south entrances, you can see that I set up far away from the entrance, so they've got to come all the way down both hallways to get to the first kill box. The reason I do that is because everything needs to be as close as possible, because travel times in this map will absolutely kill you if you try to set up closer to the doors. It would be much easier to set up a kill box up in the hallways up there and probably would kill more orcs, but the time it takes you to get there and set it up, you just wouldn't be able to do it, and that's why most people end up failing on this map. So what I do is set up a kill box in the very last choke point that they could possibly go through, and it's right by the portal, so I can get back and forth between all 4 of my kill boxes very quickly and efficiently. Now, you also may notice that I've already started setting up the south kill box, as well as put the coin forges down for the east and west entrances. I did that for no other reason than I hate being rushed in between rounds, and I'd much rather spend the money now and not have a complete kill box for the first round than I would have to rush over there and deal with all that stuff later. So you'll notice that in the downtime of my rounds, I'll start setting up my other kill boxes just in preparation for the next wave. I guess something like failing to prepare is preparing to fail, or something like that. You'll also notice that I shit myself when I see mountain trolls and swamp trolls because they do a ton of damage really fast and they regenerate. I don't like that. So I pull out my lightning ring and I use my primary to destroy them before they can destroy my decoys, even though that guy got the jump on me and I wasn't prepared for it. You'll also see me use my lightning ring on large collections of fire and frost ogres simply because those guys can also put out a ton of damage, and if they hit you in a group, they stun you and it's game over. Let's talk about what the north and south kill boxes are going to look like when it's finally finished. You've got the coin forge on the floor, obviously. You got 2 grinders on the right side, 2 acid sprayers on the left side. Behind that, you're going to have 2 acid sprayers spraying into the kill box, and you're also going to have 2 scorchers at the end of the hallway over there by the acid pool to the left that are going to be spraying down the hallway, as well as 2 floor scorchers pointing towards the kill box behind the coin forge where I'm standing right now. Now, that may all sound confusing at this point, but as you watch the video, you'll start to see it all come together. I'm also going to keep replenishing my decoys right smack in the middle of that coin forge just to keep everybody preoccupied inside the kill box for as long as possible. If I think my decoy is going to die, I'll either prepare to replace it or I'll bring out my ring and start to try to mow down whatever's beating on it. As far as the east and west kill boxes are concerned, it's basically going to be a floor of coin forges with a dummy in the middle, a ceiling of haymakers and acid sprayers on the left and right, with scorchers behind it shooting into the kill box. It doesn't get any easier than that. In the center, around the rift, we're going to slap down an absolute metric shit ton of archers. We're going to get our guardian limit on. And basically, those guys are going to be there to catch the stragglers, the little kobolds, and the flyers. Just because you have a slew of archers does not mean that you don't need to keep an eye on your minimap to make sure that little bitty things are not getting through. This setup is very, very micromanaged, so you're going to have to kind of play a little more FPS than you're probably going to want to. But it has been my highest scoring playthrough and probably the most fun I've ever had playing on Crunch. So at the start of round 3, this is when it starts to get hectic because you're going to get stuff coming from the north and south side. Round 1, it's only north. Round 2, it's only south. Round 3, you're starting to get it from both directions. You can see that I'm already starting to spend money in the east and west kill boxes, adding some sprayers just to make sure that when round 4 starts and the east and west open up, that we're going to be slightly prepared. There are no flyers until round 5, so you don't have to waste your money on archers just yet. Until round 5, start to build out your north, south, east, and west kill boxes, and then you can start flooding some money into archers. Now, I want to talk about coin forges here real quick, but first, I go through this teleport. I notice this ogre is about to destroy my decoy, so at the very last second, I charm him using my secondary on my little magic wand, and that saves my decoy. You want to keep your decoys alive at all costs, because every time you have to replace a decoy, that's 700 points off of your final score. You definitely don't want to be replacing your decoys. Oh, shit. Woo! He almost ruined my day. You definitely don't want to be replacing your decoys every few minutes because it obviously eats into the final point total. So anyway, back to coin forges. Now, the reason I chose coin forges over ice vents or spike traps is, one, they're far more efficient money-wise. Two, they add about 20-ish% more damage here. I got a couple of ogres beating on my decoy, and I pull out my lightning ring and make some quick work of them. But they add about 20% extra-ish damage when you count that unique, and they make all of the enemies that die inside it worth about twice as much gold, or money, or whatever you want to call it. So here we are burning down our last mob of Wave 3. Wave 4 starts with the East and West Wing opening up. The West Wing has the mobs coming out first, so here you can see me frantically running to throw down some acid sprayers and some haymakers, but I get there in plenty of time. With this setup, you should have zero problems being completely finished with the West Wing before the East entrance starts to open up. Also, remember that there are no flyers until next round, so spend your money on the East and West kill boxes and worry about archers at the end of this round. Now, I probably should have taken my own advice, but instead I continued to build out my kill boxes, and I don't think I had enough money for my archers. Now, that's not a big deal, because if you're spending the extra money on your kill boxes, then you shouldn't have to worry about things getting through, giving you plenty of extra time to focus fire on the flyers yourself. Hooray for manual labor. So here I am thinking I'm going to be slick and sidestepping this crossbow orc, and I miss my shot, and then he shoots me out of the side of his crossbow, which is pretty realistic. And you can see I was done in plenty time to be prepared for the East Wing, so I run over here and start to wreck shit.
At this rate, they'll run out of orcs.
And once the East entrance starts to die down a little bit, make sure you head back over to the west side, or west side, and make sure you take care of this Frost Ogre over here. Also, you got a round of heavies coming out of the east side that I forgot about, and I was like, oh crap. So I had to do this the old-fashioned way and wand them down with my wand and my lightning ring. No problem, and that should be the end of round 4. Now, I probably should have been spending my money on archers here, but again, as I said before, I overspent on my East kill box, and I only had enough money for one archer, so here I am thinking, oh shit. I got a whole round of flyers and one archer. But I managed to get through it, no problem. In the beginning of round 5, you're going to have to worry about a couple Earth Lords, which break down into the little mini Earth guys that go straight for the rift, so be careful with those guys. You're also going to have kobolds, and you're going to have flyers you're going to have to worry about, so the more archers, the better, because they're obviously going to protect your rift at all costs. I kind of ignored everything on the ground at first and focused on the flyers almost to my detriment. I almost let one of the little Earth guys through, and a kobold got pretty damn close too, so you got to be really careful on round 5. This is one of the most hectic rounds, and it's really going to test your ability on how well you use your portal. If I can give you one tip on the portal, keep an eye on your minimap. When you need to go to the north or south wing, head through the portal and take an immediate left. That's going to point you north or south depending on the side that you go through the portal on. If you need to go to the east or west wing, take an immediate right, and that's going to take you to these side doors. Again, a lot of micromanagement in this level. You're going to have to be watching 4 kill boxes that are pretty close to your rift, and if you let anything through, one little itty-bitty thing, it's going to ruin your day. So the mini-map is your friend. Once you get the flyers down, the kobolds, and all the little earth guys, the remainder is just stuff coming out of the north and south hallways, and your kill box should take care of it with very little micromanagement, and you should be ready to move on to round 6. Alright, so round 6. If you did not put down archers, put them down now. If you did put down archers, then go work on your kill boxes and start filling them out. The first thing that's going to come out are a couple gnolls out of each side, the north and the south, and they shouldn't even make it through your kill box, so you should have zero problems with them. Now I'm going to go ahead and speed this up a little bit because I don't do much for a few seconds. I kind of spend my time waiting for them to come out of the hallways into the kill box. And you'll notice I really don't do anything but run back and forth between my kill boxes, throwing down some lightning storms. I do end up accidentally letting a few crossbow guys through. I fucking hate these crossbow guys. I don't know why. They just seem to, like, ignore all the other normalities of the other orcs, and they just kind of walk around. Sometimes they run, sometimes they walk. They ignore your decoys. They somehow find a way to squeeze through traps. They kill your archers. I hate crossbow guys. But anyway, my east and west kill boxes are not complete, so I can't fault myself for the crossbow guys getting through, because I'm also letting some medium orcs through over here. I thought about storming them in the hallway, but I thought I would drag them over to the stairs, because the stairs creates another choke point that they're going to have to go through to get through the rift, and that way the lightning storm can do its work. So we finish off there onto wave 7. You can see I'm going to start beefing up my north and south kill boxes with some more sprayers in the back, which I talked about earlier, and also some scorchers on the floor in front of the coin forge. I'm also going to be finishing off the east and west hallways, oh death, with 4 acid sprayers on each side and a row of 2 haymakers down the middle, creating a 6 haymaker strip. I'm going to fast forward a little bit here again until we get to Mr. Nasty Swamp Troll here, and you can see that I'm going to take out my lightning ring and destroy him.
My plan works perfect.
Oh god, I almost let a swamp troll through. Thank god the archer's fire arrows keep them from regenerating. Woo, look at all that gold. Also, as your kill boxes get closer to being complete and you have plenty of archers down, these kobolds start to not be an issue anymore either. Now, when you start to develop your kill box and it starts to look like this, you're going to see a lot of combo 8s and combo 9s pouring off some of the larger enemies like ogres and trolls. And that's why, point-wise, this strategy is so successful. It takes a lot of effects and shoves them into a very small area, thus being called a quote-unquote kill box. And that's how this game is scored. So the more things that affect each enemy as it's dying, the more points you're going to get for killing that enemy. So here you can see me finishing off my south kill box. The last thing I'm going to do is add 3 haymakers to the ceiling of that kill box on each the north and the south side. Unfortunately, I do not have enough money this round. In wave 8, you start getting some more flyers, so make sure that your archers are at the ready, or you're ready to start to do some damage to them until the other mobs get to you. And I'm going to shut up for a while until something cool happens.
They'll run out of orcs. They're in the east hall.
And back and forth through the portals, constantly using your lightning storms and keeping your eyes on the minimap at all times, or you'll miss little things like those 2 little flyers that were coming through. And I'm noticing a lot of my archers are dying, so I'm getting ready to focus on adding some new archers. These stupid crossbow guys keep killing my archers, and I'm going to cry myself to sleep later. So I'm going to put as many archers down as I can now, which looks to be possibly 7 or 8. And then I'm going to continue on killing some more mobs.
Is that all there is? Here we go. Dead all in a row.
They're in the West Hall.
And in come a few Earth Lords. Now, the first Earth Lord is usually taken care of by your Haymakers. However, the second one can occasionally slip through, so just make sure you focus down these Earth Lords first. You also got Kobolds and Flyers. The Kobolds shouldn't even get through your kill boxes. However, you may just want to keep an eye on the center of your map. This is also the first round that you may actually have to fight the gnolls that come out. So what I like to do is charm them so they fight each other. Also, your fully charged blast from your wand will always knock them down, so you can kind of keep them stun locked. Here I tried to be slick and use the lightning room to down them fast, and it didn't work out in my favor. He hits me twice, and oh no, I almost let a kobold through. My archers were preoccupied shooting the flyers, which is what they're supposed to be doing, but that almost sucked. That almost ruined my day. So here we have one flyer left in round 9, and my archers are taking care of it, and I noticed that my decoys that I have set down are now gone, and I'm also going to add some decoys to the east and west wing, and everything else should be okay. I will start to add some scorchers on the back end of the kill box for the east and west wings, and I'm a very symmetrical player, but I messed those up and don't go back and fix it because round 10, 11, and 12 are fairly hectic, so I'm pooping my pants the whole time.
Plan work. A delightful series of death. Is there any limit to my achievement?
And the one thing that my Frost decoys did not want to see are Frost Ogres. Well played, Robot Entertainment. Well played. So they destroy my decoy, and I end up having to just put him right back. No big deal.
Just like a dummy I know.
Not this time, you frosty bastards. And there's really not much more to do. I mean, the kill boxes are pretty much all complete. Now it's just time to wait out wave 11 and 12, and when all else fails, throw out more archers until you reach the Guardian limit, which I believe we do right now. Is that right? Hey, there it is, the Guardian limit. So I'm just gonna run around and collect my spoils of war and wait till the enemies get here.
So much wonderful death.
So much portal use and micromanagement, but that's what you gotta do when you got 4 separate kill boxes that you gotta watch at all times. Thank God they're all within a few seconds of each other by using the portals.
Wonderful device. I win again. This will knock the breath from their lungs. It begins.
And Wave 11 ends with not much of a problem. You can see all I really had to do was kind of walk around and visually monitor all of the kill boxes. And other than that, the kill boxes kind of handle themselves. I did add 3 more haymakers on each of the north and south kill boxes just for good measure for the final wave, but I don't feel like the final wave's any harder than Wave 11 is. Here you can see a nifty little move. I wasn't quite sure of my decoy's health, and instead of looking, I just kind of walked around the back of the ogre, so he turned around back into some other traps that he had already passed, and they killed him. And let's pause for a second. You can see we've got 2 ogres, 2 fire ogres, and 1 armored ogre getting ready to come through this single kill box. That's a pretty tall order. Let's see how it fares. Whoa! The decoy even made it. I didn't even have to use my lightning rings primary. They just went down. Oh shit, one last test. 3 frost ogres, and they don't even make it into the kill box. They get destroyed by the scorchers beforehand. One last shot on last Mr. remaining heavy ogre, and congratulations, you have now 5-skulled crunch on Nightmare with the Sorceress. We don't even need your War Mage Tar. What am I, a pussy? 9 bonus skulls plus 1 that I didn't have before for 10 skulls, 488,000 points. That is pretty impressive. If we take a look at the leaderboards, you'll see that I ranked in at number 40. Not bad, considering the first 10 to 15 scores are all hacked. So we'll say the top 25, top 20 to 30 at least. And that is how you do it, folks. So if you guys have any questions, obviously leave those in the comment section below. Hopefully this helped you get through Nightmare mode on Crunch. And if you guys would like me to make some more guides, then let me know in the comment section below, and I'll do that for you. So thanks for stopping by and hanging out with me, guys, and we will see you later. Thanks, guys. Bye.